Okay, this video is here to help kind of catch people up that were absent or missed class or just fell behind in our document that we called Onshape modeling tools. And I had one for each class. So this will be video demo version. Okay, and so in this file that we're working on, it's just to kind of fire tools and to kind of show things. I'm not worried about exact sizes or dimensions, etc. Let me delete the assembly, and really it's just about kind of creating form, so bringing form into shape, into being here virtually. So each part studio, we kind of worked on a different tool, and so I'm naming them. So the first one was Extrusions, and I'm going to be a little faster in the video because you can hit pause, rewind, etc. So your document, though, the students that are creating this, they do have a very basic extrusion. So I just did a sketch. I'm going to use the polygon tool just to kind of use a different tool for sketching. Plus that way you can get used to it. You kind of click for the center, click for sets the radius, and then you move your mouse in and out to decide how many sides you want. And if you kind of make and click when you've got a number you didn't intend, you can always, after turning this tool off, you can double click on this and edit the number. So if you intend it for a hexagon instead of a pentagon, or vice versa, you can come in here and edit that. We could dimension this up, etc. But there you go. A basic extrusion, though, is, okay, this is the extrude menu. It's the very first one after sketch, is just to basically push or pull the object through space, and you have a shape, right? So maybe the only thing we did here to do something different on the first one was to click the symmetric box to show that sometimes we want the sketch to live in the middle of the object and not be on the end. You can obviously, if you uncheck that, you can go forward or backward. You can toggle between the direction, leaving the sketch on the front or the back. But sometimes there may be a purpose for leaving the sketch in the interior, in the middle. And so clicking that allows you to equally go in both directions. So that's not just kind of in between, but it's directly or perfectly in the middle of the two ends, okay? So there's a fairly basic extrusion. If you didn't know what an extrusion is, hopefully you're on board. So I'm going to do extrude symmetric, just to name these. Okay, and then the next extrusion, actually, I'm going to go on the top plane. I'm going to do just a rectangle for my sketch. Okay, again, I don't really care about exact dimensions. I'm just trying to showcase some things. So I'm going to turn on the extrude tool. I'm going to click on this, and I'll pull it up a little bit. Okay, the next example was to show what this little draft button did. So draft, if you click on it, you get a field. It says 3DEG. And if you kind of hover and keep reading, it says draft angle. So that should be a good hint that DEG is degrees, it's angles. And we played around with changing that number, bigger, smaller, and we can see that what's happening is our extrusion is kind of flaring out. Another word you might say might be to taper. So the draft extrusion flares it, tapers it, etc. If you want it to go inward instead of outward, this is getting wider as it extrudes. You might have thought to try a negative like I did, and it doesn't like that. But you can hit this little circular kind of arrow, and that will flip the direction. So you can go inward at a certain degree, angled and outward, so you can toggle that. Okay. The other thing I'm going to show in this, so not just that we can do draft, similar to symmetric, but different, is that we can go in two directions like symmetric did, but we don't have to go the same distance in those two directions. So if I click second end position, it allows me to now show an extrusion extending from the same sketch in the opposite direction, and gives me the ability to specify parameters like the distance, because it doesn't have to be symmetrical, so it doesn't have to go the same distance as the first one. So it can be shorter, it can be longer, okay? So it can be basically different. So this is going to create an asymmetrical shape. You have the ability to make it a straight extrusion or to draft it, okay? And I'm going to do like a wide flare out, kind of short little draft. It's almost going to look like, I don't know, like the base of a pedestal or something. And so anyway, so this kind of demonstrates that we can draft, we can taper, we can go in two directions without it being symmetrical. So anyway, that's another extrusion for you. So I'm going to rename that one, and I'll give it 2 things. So it's draft and second end position. Okay, so hovering over that sketch, you see all of that was formed from one sketch, one simple rectangle. So pretty cool. All right, so this will be video 1. This will be the extrusion video. I'll make a new video, kind of start and stop, for each part studio.